Hey folks, have you seen the latest animated Spider-Verse movie? Without giving much away, it turns out a whole verse of spider heroes come together every Halloween to party. Just kidding. In this video, we see Spideys from various universes collectively working to save humanity, and you can trust that it's better than the movie version, so stick around to find out for yourself. So Miles Morales of Earth 616 is busy as usual fighting crime. This time he is pitted against multiple Vulturians, and he's doing quite well at containing them. They are even surprised at his ability to electrocute one of them, like they had never seen that side of Miles before. So an electrocution here and a web straitjacket there, it's simply another crime-fighting day for Miles. One of the Vulturians even crashes a barbecue party and threatens to kill the guests with a gun, but Miles is able to outwit him. Then suddenly, a portal opens above the rooftop party, and out comes a number of Spider-Persons from other dimensions. There is Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman, Octavio Otto as a good version of him, Spider-Noir, Spider-UK, Spider-Ham, and Spider-Punk. Apparently there's an emergency, and they need Miles. It turns out the Inheritors are at risk of breaking out from prison. We switch to San Francisco, where Count Nefaria is in battle with Superior Octopus. Is it us, or doesn't this Count fellow look like Doctor Strange? Count Nefaria is supposed to be a crime lord, and the so-called Superior Octopus is trying to contain him. Then, Octavio threatens Nefaria by showing him virtual images of members of his family who are about to die at the hand of Octobots if he doesn't give up his ambition regarding San Francisco. Only then does Nefaria fly away, hoping that Octavio becomes consumed by his dark side. Next, we see what Nefaria meant. Octavio has an entire lab of clones that might help him live for as long as he wants. It seems he is already going bad. The small clique of Spider-Men passes through the portal to the Superior Octopus's world on a mission to destroy the tech Superior Oc is using. They breach his lab and confront him, or at least they try to convince him that the tech is unstable, but he refuses to shut it down. So, the battle is on. As they fight off the self-styled Superior Octopus, the other good version of Octavius tries to hack into the system. But it seems it's too late as Spider-Noir jumps and attempts to destroy the clone pods. Suddenly, one of the Inheritors named Morlun breaks out and sucks the life out of Spider-Noir, and not even a blast can stop him. His sister, Verna, emerges too and kills Spider-UK for punching her brother. Then, finally, Genix emerges as the last member of the group. Now the remaining Spider heroes realize they are screwed. But they must fight to contain this first wave of Inheritors before more of them are awakened. They go on to try their best as they shoot more webbings. At some point, they realize the best way to contain the threat would be to blow up the lab. Superior Octopus confesses that he has indeed rigged the lab to self-destruct in situations like this. And so, as the countdown begins, the Spider heroes web the entire lab, and Spider-Gwen decides to stay behind long enough to hold Verna down. She promises the others that she will teleport herself out of there on time. However, in the last 3 seconds of the countdown, Verna somehow manages to see Spider-Gwen, and then the lab goes boom. The other Spider heroes look on and begin to fear the worst. Meanwhile, the Superior Octopus gets a transmission from one of his Octobots in the city. It seems Verna was able to see Spider-Gwen's portal watch, and with it, she has resurrected more members of her villainous family. Now that they are gathered, their first line of action is to build more resurrection vats. This is so they can increase their numbers to a more formidable group. At this stage, Genix admits all of this would take time, and fortunately, this plays into the plan of the Spider heroes. In other words, it has bought them some time to plan and initiate a counterattack. They promptly open a portal and head straight for Loomworld, the home of the Web of Life and Destiny. They meet up with Karn, who is the Spider Guardian there. It is from the Loom world that they depart to fulfill the part they will play in defeating the Inheritors. As they leave, Verna suddenly arrives at Loomworld and challenges Karn, who is all too ready to fight to the death. Meanwhile, Superior Octopus changes his suit and wants to be referred to as Superior Spider-Man from henceforth. And together with the good Octavius, they start to seek out and recruit capable Spider heroes from other dimensions who will join the fight to defeat the Inheritors without any inhibitions. But then, there's Verna at the core of what makes the League of Spider Heroes tick. If she succeeds in killing Karn on Loomworld, then the Inheritors will have an advantage over the Spider heroes, whatever they do. Karn strikes first and stabs Verna in her gut with one of his spider legs, but then Verna starts to suck him dry, and he eventually dies. Also, it turns out Spider-Gwen didn't die in the blast but was transported to Earth 3109 without her portal watch. In short, she is stranded in a dimension she knows nothing about. Miles Morales tries to recruit Spider India, and together they head back to their base of operations, where they meet the other group of Spider heroes who want to fight the Inheritors the right way. On the flip side, Superior Spider-Man is in the middle of assembling his group too. He has just managed to recruit Leopardon and its spider pilot named Takaya to the group. Presently, they are all aboard the giant robot, trying to strategize their best way forward. From our vantage point, it seems these two groups of spider heroes are on a collision course, and how can they defeat the threat posed by the Inheritors if they can't agree? The Scarlet Spider, formerly known as the Jackal, suddenly arrives, and Superior Spider-Man doesn't like this. When he was the Jackal, he was responsible for creating the same tech that made the Inheritors come alive, but now he wants to make amends. Just then, a transmission comes in for Superior Spider-Man's group. Miles Morales simply wants to announce that his group is going ahead to attack the Inheritors at the U-Labs facility built by none other than the Jackal in his old life, and the Superior Spider-Man is certainly rooting for their downfall. Back at the U-Building, the small band of Inheritors has secured the body of Solos, their father, but there's still a lot of work to be done before they can resurrect him. Spider-Ham is in the vents spying on them. He reports back to his team, and they plan to blow up the main pillars of the building as they jump through a portal to safety, thus destroying the tech in the process. Just as Miles is about to press the button, an Inheritor attacks him, and a fight ensues. The Spider Heroes don't mind dying, and urge one of them to blow the bombs manually. As the countdown begins, Superior Spider-Man's group suddenly shows up as reinforcements. They save the other group from imminent destruction. They all get aboard Leopardon, and it blasts off, leaving the Inheritors behind. While aboard the robot, a certain Spider-Man with 6 hands, aka Norman Osborn, starts to mouth off about how the group must sacrifice one world as collateral damage. But is he right? Elsewhere, Spider-Woman enters a portal and is surprised that she possesses a soul stone. Just then, Morlun seizes her and the stone. She shoots some radioactive webbing at his face, and in the process, proves that the Inheritors can't eat her. Apparently, radioactivity is one of their weaknesses. Morlun then inserts the stone and wham! Solos, their father, is resurrected. The Spider Heroes find themselves in an abandoned world where they first battled with the Inheritors and defeated them. They hope they can find traces of the all-powerful Enigma Force here and use it to defeat the Inheritors for a second time. Just then, Spider-Punk pokes his head through a portal and alerts the others that Solus is now alive, and it's only a matter of time before the Inheritors gain strength in their numbers. The Spider Heroes decide they need a plan, but not before Norman Osborn walks out on them because they are not decisive enough for him. He takes Spider-Man with him, and they end up in Loom World. By now, Karn is dead, and Norman has big plans for the vacancy on Loom World. He rigs a bomb to the Universal Spider Portal with the hopes of destroying the interdimensional web and thus trap the Inheritors on the world they presently are. This way, interdimensional travel is not possible anymore, and other worlds are protected. The downside is the Spider Heroes are also trapped, and their portal watches become fried. As they begin to realize their predicament, Superior Spider-Man sneaks out with the Scarlet Spider to try to kill the Inheritors and end things at once. They sneak into the building, and once Scarlet Spider turns his back, Superior Spider-Man whacks him in the head. Apparently, he has struck a deal with the Inheritors to deliver Scarlet Spider-Man alive. Once they suck his essence, they will be able to work the tech he created, allowing them to recreate the resurrection vats. In return, the Inheritors will spare the Earth Superior Spider-Man calls home. Back at the lab, the group is oblivious to what Superior Spider-Man just did, but they are also able to use leftover traces of the Enigma Force to communicate with Captain Universe, or whatever it is that is coming through their portal. It accuses them of being unworthy to call upon it. They admit they've made mistakes in the past and they are sorry. This Enigma Force ultimately picks Miles Morales to wield its powers. Meanwhile, a certain Spider-Man follows Superior Spider-Man and is about to expose him as a conniving web-slinger. But then Superior Spider-Man makes him see reason. It's all part of a plan to destroy the Inheritors. Just then, Morlun attempts to suck the Scarlet Spider's essence, but gets poisoned by the food. Scarlet Spider has died and been resurrected up to 27 times, and as Morlun eats, he also imbibes these many lives, and it's not very appetizing to him. The Inheritors then catch Superior Spider-Man and his pal in the middle of their conversation, and just when they are about to eat them too, Captain Universe in all his glory shows up with the rest of the Spider team. A battle ensues between the captains and Solus, who is all too glad to consume the Captain Universe for a second time. The battle rages on all fronts as more Spider Heroes join and try to contain the threats. Superior Spider-Man gets back to where Scarlet Spider is, seeing the Inheritors have abandoned him there to fight off the Spider Heroes. He has decided to try a different approach to ending the Inheritors, and requires Dr. Octavius' help. Meanwhile, the Pattern Maker arrives from Loom World to reinforce the team. Then, to make things even sweeter, Spider-Gwen arrives with many more Spider Heroes, including the original Peter Parker, who defeated Solus before. Solus attempts to strike Captain Universe from behind, but is hit by a blast so powerful that it dazzles Solus. At the lab, Superior Spider-Man has fine-tuned his plan, and with the help of Peter Parker, he communicates it to the rest of the Spider Heroes. But first, Takayo lends Leopardon's humongous sword to Captain Universe, which he uses to slay Solus and a few Inheritors. Then they all come together to trap Morlun. So here's the thing. The plan involves transferring the consciousness of the Inheritors into new babies that will be raised to be good. At first glance, the plan makes a lot of sense, but then there's the issue of who would raise the babies. May Parker, who is a grandma version of Spider-Man, steps forward to take up the challenge. The Enigma Force is lifted from Miles and returns to its source. everyone says their goodbyes to everyone else. And after everything that has just transpired, we are left with Norman Osborn smiling to himself at an undisclosed location as he holds a liquid bomb in his hands. This is definitely one for the archives, where we see Miles Morales stepping up as a leader. We also see a version of Spider-Man that is also an ambitious version of Dr. Octavius. How crazy is that? Ultimately, the League of Spider Heroes comes together to defeat the Inheritors, if turning them into babies can be categorized as defeat. Even more so, a version of Norman Osborn, aka Hobgoblin, is also a conniving version of Spider-Man, and it begs the question, who can anyone really trust?